Welcome to my crib. You want to rate my stream setup, bro? Enemy base spot. We're detecting massive energy spikes. What are they doing there? Like, seriously, what are those? Like, what the hell? What if you were talking to, like, the Luma? Like, you enter the bedroom, and the Luma starts talking to you, and he starts talking about the energy spikes. What if in the middle of a Mario game like this, the Luma was just like, what the fuck is that? No, sorry, we could literally just go do the boss, like, right now for funsies. And I'm not 100% certain, Lancer. I haven't, what, do I, oh, I drag like that. I haven't actually played Sacred Stones in a very long time now. Should we just do this right now? I mean, just doing that on its own would make for a pretty short episode when I cut this up into parts later. So let's do the one that has 1 star and then the boss, and then we can do these other ones. Is what we can do. Because then that'll cut up into parts better and have this part actually cross the 10-minute mark. So, so much of what I do when I stream things is into consideration to how I'm going to cut it up into parts for YouTube afterwards. I try to think ahead like this. Scale like the sticky wall. Let's go. Honey Climb Galaxy. Man, imagine being from a galaxy called Honey Climb. Freaking lame. Okay, let's go. Oh, bam. To be or not to be? That is the B, I mean, question. I think I had that in the description in one of my videos in this series. My goodness. Yeah, I can definitely imagine that answer. So what have we here? Oh, cool. I can probably just make it up there anyway. Yeah, freaking easy peasy. Give me the crap. Hey. Okay. I love how the meter just says fly. And Mario looking real fly out here. Grab the thing! Ah! Okay, that could have been so much worse. Let me tell you. Could have been so bad. No, no, no. No, no. One day, I'll cover the rest of the 3DS I was about to say 3DS Mario games. 3DS Fire Emblem games on the channel. And then sometime after that will come the 3DS Game Boy Advance games. You did an awesome job in the AC parts. In the tubes you've been enjoying. I'm glad you've been enjoying that, Josh. I mean, AC could stand for either Assassin's Creed, Astral Chain, or Animal Crossing. But whichever one of those you're talking about, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Also, when it comes to stuff that I'm doing on Twitch and YouTube, when it comes to Fire Emblem for the 3DS games is in a very strange place right now. Because I beat Lunatic Plus Classic, like, forever ago. And I originally planned to do, like, all the DLC of it in order, going through all those missions. But it's been such a long gap since I continued it after, like, initially beating the game, apart from, like, that one apotheosis attempt that I did, where anybody who's found my channel in, like, the last half a year would just see me hopping into the DLC of this one specific game and be like, wait, what's going on here, and why? Why are you playing the DLC of this one game out of nowhere? Because it's been, like, 6 months or something like that at this point. So I want to go through that, and then if I do go through all of them in order and I want to tackle Apotheosis later, I straight up don't know if I'm capable of, like, beating Apotheosis. But yeah, Assassin's Creed, sorry, gotcha. Yeah, I do plan on, whoops! Early next year, I do plan on continuing Assassin's Creed with Assassin's Creed 4, which is my favorite. I'm back at the beginning, aren't I? Oh, I'm not back at the beginning. Okay, cool. I do plan on continuing it with Assassin's Creed 4, which is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Also, let's just say that we have something very special planned in terms of that. The stream's gonna be a little bit different for that game. Let me just say it's gonna be a bit of a spicy playthrough. I'm thinking I may resume it, or I may start that game on January 1st of the new year of 2021, just because I started Assassin's Creed 1 this year on January 1st this year. So I think it'd be really fitting to continue with my favorite Assassin's Creed game on January 1st next year. So, like, maybe I'll announce that date in, like, Discord or something soonish, but that's currently my plan. Anyway, in terms of Fire Emblem, if we did continue with the other 3DS Fire Emblem games, that means we'd be moving on to Fire Emblem Fates, and then after that, we'd do Echoes, and I freaking love Echoes, let me tell you. I love Fates for its music and gameplay. Like, my goodness, the customizability when it comes to, like, the gameplay is freaking perfect for Excel spreadsheet mad lads like me. Like, it's probably, in my opinion, I feel like Fire Emblem Fates is the best Fire Emblem game for people who make Excel spreadsheets like me and, like, mix and match all kinds of characters to min-max them and freaking do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, it's freaking great for that. But when it comes to starting Fire Emblem Fates and other stuff, it's like, do I finish off Fire Emblem Three Houses first? I should probably, if I'm gonna do all the 3DS Fire Emblem games in order, along with their DLC, does that mean that I need to do the freaking DLC of Fire Emblem Awakening first, after not touching the game for like 6 months, apart from that one Apotheosis attempt? Like, what do I do about that? And what would people think of it who've found the channel like the last 6 months, or even people who've been around for a long time, who are like, what the heck? Why are you playing this game out of nowhere that we haven't seen either ever, or not in like 3,000 years on the channel? Like, I don't know how that didn't damage me. Like, the whole Fire Emblem situation in general, both with Awakening and the other 3DS games and Three Houses, is in a very, very weird place for me right now, where I literally don't know what to do with them. But yeah, wait, it's been that long already, man. Where's the time going? Time freaking flies. Time's been flying by, let me tell you. And let me also tell you, I literally have no idea what to do when it comes to the Fire Emblem things I'm doing on this channel. Like, do I push through the rest of Three Houses when I get the chance and then just call it after Golden Deer? Do I do the rest of Awakening's DLC, including Apotheosis, if I feel like putting myself through hell? And then that way I can actually feel good about moving on to the next Fire Emblem. Because if I move on to Fire Emblem Fates before doing the DLC of Awakening, it'd be even weirder if I went back to do the DLC of Awakening later. So like, oh my goodness, I got so many star bits from that. So like, the whole Fire Emblem situation when it comes to what I'm doing on Twitch and YouTube is just like one big clusterfuck of I have literally no idea what to do about it. I mean, when I get the chance, first things first, I could wrap up Three Houses. And then, like, play it by ear from there. But what do I do about Awakening? Do I move on to Fates? Do I do all of Awakening's DLC first? Do I really want to do all of Awakening's DLC first? Like, it's so many questions. But yeah. You say do the Awakening DLC because Future Past is Kino, and then do... Oh yeah, the Future Past. I never actually played a lot of Fire Emblem Awakening's DLC, like back when I played it on my actual physical 3DS before emulating it for stream. Like, I think I owned most of the DLC on, like, my actual 3DS and such. But I never played a whole bunch of it. It was mostly just the grinding ones for the most part. So, like, I know of Future Past. I forgot that that's, like, completely, you know, more story stuff, basically. Future Past is a good idea. I just feel like if I do like all the DLC of Fire Emblem Awakening, I will be compelled to do Apotheosis, which would be a really cool challenge to like get through, especially after doing, you know, all of Lunatic plus Classic. But after having so many characters that had maxed out stats and maxed out weapons, and the enemies still had skills that like I literally couldn't play around, was like, do I really want to put myself through this? And by the way, Lancer, I did check out that video you sent me of somebody doing all of freaking Apotheosis without the... What? That's square. I did check out that video that you sent me of, like, somebody doing Apotheosis without any DLC skills or anything like that. And I looked specifically for the one part, like that one archer who had, like, the crazy BS skills where I couldn't deal with it. And so checking this out, the archer on that video did not have those crazy BS skills, which tells me that DLC map, just like the main game on Lunatic Plus Classic, has randomly, like, generated skills, like it's randomly decided from a set of options, which means that when I attempted Apotheosis for charity, I just had, like, really poor luck and wound up getting a configuration of skills that I just couldn't deal with. So, you know, there's that. So, you know, I'm grateful he sent me that and I found out that fun fact. So, I mean, as is when it comes to Apotheosis and Fire Emblem Awakening, maybe I could beat it as is if I do everything perfectly. I'd probably try to have more maxed characters and more, like, maxed out, like, forged weapons on them first, and just generally be more prepared. But, like, you know, there's that. So there's an interesting thing that I learned about freaking Apotheosis, is it's just like the main game, where it's not predetermined what skills they're gonna have, it's just gonna be randomly selected from a set of options. So, like, you know, that time that I tried to beat Apotheosis for charity, yeah, I couldn't do it because RNG. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, if I moved on to Fire Emblem Fates without doing Awakening's DLC, then I'd feel bad about, like, covering Fates before covering the rest of Awakening, especially if I did decide I wanted to do that in the future or something. But if we do manage to get the time to do all of Awakening's DLC, as weird and out of place as it would be for my channel, considering we haven't done Awakening in forever, I would feel much better about moving on to the rest of the 3DS freaking games. And then from there, after the 3DS games, after we do the 3DS trilogy, then I'd want to do the Game Boy Advance trilogy at some point in the future. But like, I think the course of so maybe the course of action for Fire Emblem should be finish up the current route of 3 houses, which maybe I'll even do in winter break soonest, just so it's done with and I can say goodbye to 3 houses properly after a playthrough instead of in the middle of a playthrough. And then from there, at some point when I get the chance, finish up all the rest of the DLC of Fire Emblem Awakening, and then at some point in the future, Fates, Echoes, and then whenever we want to continue with Fire Emblem in the future, we'd probably do 6, 7, 8. Or we could do like 6, 7, 8, because it, like, the timeline goes 7, 6, since 7 is the prologue. I don't know. And then from there, I don't know, the freaking Ike games or something. Maybe we do Fire Emblem Warriors at some point just for funsies. So if I'm doing all the 3DS games, maybe I'd wind up doing Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon as well, just so that it would play into, like, Fire Emblem Warriors if I did that at some point after. I don't know. Fire Emblem's a weird situation. Where, Luigi? It's you! That's it, Mario. I'm gonna stomp you into space bits. Yarg! Prepare to be boarded. But yeah, Sacred Stones is gotta be a trip, so that game's content would be out of place in Berserk? Out of place in Berserk? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Is that one of the difficulty settings? How what? Also, Sacred Stones was like so ahead of its time, considering like it had ways to grind, it had like a map overworld, kind of like Awakening and Echoes did. Like, Sacred Stones is a very fascinating entry in the Fire Emblem series, just because it feels like a Game Boy Advanced version of like a modern Fire Emblem game, almost. Of like, or at least one of like the 3DS ones, kind of. Like, it still has some of those kind of, you know, things of the Game Boy Advanced kind of era games where it's like, yep, freaking, if you're in this class with that character, guess what, you're never going to be changing that in the future. Holy crap, I'm bad. But it definitely had aspects that are more akin to... Come on, are you freaking... Oh, it's a manga, gotcha. Well... I'm apparently god-awful at this here video game, let me tell ya. Apparently I suck. But yeah, there's so many other Fire Emblem games to go through first that, like, I can't even consider hopping into Sacred Stones anytime soon, you know? Can't even consider that. But that's the order in my head. If I ever go through, like, if I ever want to cover way more of the Fire Emblem series, that's probably going to be the order then. The rest of 3 houses, rest of Awakening, the other 3DS games, then the Game Boy Advance games, and then I was running as fast as I could. And then maybe like the Ike ones or something, I don't know. And maybe wedge freaking Shadow Dragon in somewhere. Oi! Okay, do it again. One more time! Booser! Time to get smackarooed. Also, it looks like the audio... I should have checked this way earlier, but I think the audio levels are A-okay. Maybe I'll turn it down a little smidge. Maybe. Like that. Make the game very slightly quieter. Wah! Not bad. Guess I chose the right guy to be my arch enemy. Guess you always put up a fight. But it's too bad for you, because my master plan is almost complete. Tough luck, Mario. I'm gonna become the greatest streamer on all of Twitch, and everybody's going to be simping for me. With the power of the Grand Stars. Well, neat. Let's yoink the thingamabob. You got the crap!